Hello, everybody. Welcome to Woke Wild Women's podcast. I am Bethany Evans.
And I am Roxanne Sailors.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So we just want to give you a little information about what this podcast is, how it came to be. The purpose of the podcast is to talk about nature-based spirituality, women, and how we connect to the world and also the divine. Roxanne, do you want to say anything about that?
I think the purpose of this is to start a conversation, to let people in on our conversations as we evolve as women who are spiritual and have a center in earth-based spirituality and the importance of connection. Mm-hmm. With other women specifically, although we love men, we love our transgender, our inquiring, our intersectional folks. Yes. This is really how we identify as women in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Providing some kind of support and community for women that may be searching for it, just like we were, and we found each other. And now we're creating that globally, hopefully. Yeah. So just a little backstory on us, how we met. We went through an ontological life coaching program together. That's how we came to meet. And Roxanne is from Bellingham, Washington. I'm from California, Southern California. And the program was based in San Diego. So we would meet there one weekend per month to do personal transformation and coaches training. And we just kind of clicked instantly. We have a lot of things in common, including tarot cards and just similar experiences in life, and also both being mothers. We connected with that as well, and just spirituality in general. And I think you were one of the people that I felt most comfortable and safe with immediately, and there is you have a mother energy that I am drawn to. But we are friends. But I think it as women, and especially when you're a mother, that instinct awakens within you, and then you kind of just are that for a lot of people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the origin of this podcast specifically came from an outpouring of creativity. We were at the end, I think we had actually graduated from the program, which was a year long, and we both are so drawn to San Diego, and we ended up going to San Diego just on our own to get together. And we went for a walk on the beach, and we started talking about, we should do something together. We should create something. And it turned into a 3-hour, I think it was about 3-hour long conversation where we just, it was the craziest manifestation brainstorm session where we just came up with all these amazing ideas. I don't think that podcasts came out in that particular conversation.
So. Not at all.
But, the real impetus was a women's retreat, because that was what we were doing for ourselves. We were retreating to San Diego to connect and be in nature on the beach, especially, mm-hmm. and be with each other. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, we should do this for other women. So we started working on a weekend retreat, and then life happens, and both Bethany and I are very clear that things happen in their own time, and we practice allowing that. And then I think just like 3 weeks ago or so, we were having one of our many awesome conversations around planning this retreat, and so much wisdom comes out of both of us. And we're like, we should record this. People need to hear our awesome wisdom,
right? We're amazing.
And our silliness, and and just our
raw, the realness.
Yeah, the real unedited conversations. And so I was like, we should do a podcast. And Bethany's like, let's do it. So we started recording conversations. And we're bringing those out into the world as we continue to develop our own things that we're up to in the world. But this podcast is just a way to start bringing in like-minded women and maybe eventually men, who knows, or however you identify.
Right.
Um, but right now, yeah, just primarily the conversations that we're having around what it means to be a woman in the world today and how we tap into that.
Right. And how we can support each other, because I think that was the biggest thing that was missing for me in my life up until starting the program. And that's what I was looking for, was community and like-minded people. And what I didn't realize was it was really just my feminine energy, really craving, um, yeah, sisterhood, community, people who can support me the way I haven't been supported, in the past. And every woman that every time I have a conversation with one of my closest friends, like, we always have these great, like, nuggets of wisdom that come out. And I've said this multiple times, like, gosh, we should record this. And um so yeah, that's what we're doing for you guys here. So we have a group of women already, close to us, that we have started recording with, and we are going to bring them and their wisdom to you guys as well. um that's the main purpose, is to have specific conversations about things that we may not actually talk about in everyday life with everybody. And it's going to be uncensored, and talking about difficult things that we go through, that we overcome, the shit we don't want to say, or the shit we do want to say but we're too afraid to. It's like giving women the platform to share their story, to share their experiences, and to hopefully allow other people who are watching to not feel alone, and to know that, there are people out there that you can reach out to, that you can feel safe and heard and seen, and with no judgments, and yeah, just with love and acceptance.
Love it. Yeah. And we each bring our own unique gifts and talents and experiences to the conversation. So,
Yeah.
Bethany, tell us who you are in the world.
Who am I in the world? Well, for the past like 11 years, I've been an early childhood educator. It's been one of my biggest passions, just to learn about children and how they develop, and to creating the best environment for them. And I know that that stems from just my own experiences as a child, not having a very safe container. But now, uh, I still do that. I teach teachers. So my students are becoming preschool teachers, or they want to be in the preschool field. And so now I get to mentor them one-on-one, and I absolutely love it. But I'm also an ontological life coach, and I do tarot card readings for people, and I also work one-on-one with them. And it's really about people becoming self-aware, realizing what's happening in their lives, and trying to understand it, get some clarity, get um, the best guidance and direction forward for them. I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned for myself. And now we generally tend to, whatever we experience is what we offer to the world, right? Whatever we go
Yes.
through. So for me, it's about really listening to what is important to me, what I need, rather than listening to people outside of me. And so that's what I help my clients do, is really hone in on what is the best direction forward for them, what's happening for them, and giving them tools, practices, resources, and yeah, and that's what I do over here. What do you do over there?
I do a lot of different things. I am a fitness, you could call me a personal trainer. I like the term embodiment coach. So I teach people how to get into their bodies, how to move their bodies more efficiently, more powerfully, with more grace, and more connection to their spirit, and really getting out of their head,
Mm,
because there's a lot of there's a lot of nuance there, and there's a lot of disconnect, I think,
yeah,
in our culture today, where there's an expectation that we should be
mhm.
analytical, we should be logical, and the body has a lot to tell us about who we are and what we need. And
Absolutely.
so, learning to tap into that through movement practices. I'm also a doula, which is a emotional and physical support for women, and support people, so fathers, or other mothers if it's two women, or fathers through adoption, in going through the birth process, specifically giving birth. So I would say, women's that magical secret, that secret knowledge that I experienced through childbirth. So I love that work. I love being in the birth space. And a lot of how I relate to life and creation and projects is through the lens of birth. We're always birthing new ideas, we're birthing new relationships, and what I know and understand about the birth experience, how to create a container for creation,
Yeah.
to allow people to create authentically. So that does also translate into life coaching.
Yeah.
My ontological coaching skills are woven throughout my fitness practice and my doula practice. Um, and I'm also a writer. I am working on writing a book that is all about self-care. It is my own personal project of me reclaiming my own self-care practices. It's funny, a lot of my friends say that I'm so good at self-care. You know so much about it. The way I relate to it is a constant struggle.
Yeah.
I have created a life that allows me a lot of space and time to do what I need to do to source me, and I stop myself constantly.
Mm.
So, although I've got lots of resources, it's still a practice for me, and will be for the rest of my life. And I think going through the transformational coaching program that we went through really helped me to understand that life is happening now. It's all in progress. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing broken, nothing to fix. And there's always an opportunity to expand.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I think that that's important to remember is that things are ever changing. So that means your self-care practices are going to change over time because you're changing and you don't do
yes.
the same things that you did last year, and they just change and evolve. And I think sometimes as humans, we get stuck on certain things being the same way for a while because it's comfortable and it feels safe. Yeah, so I think that's one of the biggest things too that I help my clients do is get uncomfortable, right? Like try something new. Do that thing you've always wanted to do. Why are you afraid of it? Like look at where that is coming from. Why is there resistance there? And you generally, if we resist something or we fear something very intensely, it's probably because we need to do it. But I love what you said about relationships too, because that's something that I specifically remember from grad school. Like one of my professors, she was like my mentor, but something she said is like relationships, relationships, relationships. Life is just relationships. And that
Yes.
it was again like emphasized in our program that we went through is how we're relating to things. Everything is a relationship. So how we relate to ourselves, how we relate to our job, how we relate to our friends, family, everything is relationship. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So that relationship to yourself is so important, which is why you focus on self-care and how you treat yourself, because that's also like how we treat ourselves is like how we're going to allow other people to treat us too. So if we're not very nice to ourselves, we're going to allow other people to not be very nice to us, right?
Yes.
And that's how we get that reflection of what we're doing to ourselves. So that's something that is huge that comes up for me is that reflection that I talk about a lot with my clients and a lot of people is what's showing up on the outside is a reflection of what's happening on your inside, whether you're aware of it or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's what we do as coaches. We
Yeah.
really just shine a light, be the reflection for something that somebody may not see because they're so used to looking in this direction.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking back, we can see what's happening maybe in the rearview mirror that they
Exactly.
can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being objective. It's really cool to have that objective perspective and be able to see everything because when you're in a situation, you're so deep in it that you like you said you can't see. You got blinders on.
Mhm.
So it's about taking those blinders off, having someone assist you in doing that. So that's what we're here to do.
Yes. And something else you said about oh, I can't remember what you said, and you just said it like 2 minutes ago. But like the ever changing, we're always changing, we're always growing. And on that note, this podcast has been started to start with some specific questions that we want to ask the powerful women in our circles. But as we start having these conversations, just in the last few conversations we've had, so many really great, juicy topics have come up that we want to go deeper with
Yeah.
and bring more people into the conversation.
Yeah.
So I think this podcast will evolve into, something bigger, something more, and we're allowing that to happen.
Yeah.
But at its core, it's really conversations with women about our experiences, and
Yeah.
creating a tribe of women.
Right. So we want to hear from you, whoever's listening, what you get out of it. If you have questions, if there's a topic you want us to talk about, we would love to hear that as well. Or if you ever wanted to be a part of it as well, we want to bring in, as much as possible to offer. So yeah, cool.
Well, keep listening. We have tons of conversations. We have amazing women that we want to showcase and hear their wisdom.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, either on Bethany's website or my website, or connect with us on Facebook or Instagram. And all of that connection information will be listed in the show notes, in the comments below, wherever
Wherever
this
you
is going to
find
be.
this, it will
Yes.
be there.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in. And we are so looking forward to recording more and hearing from you guys. So, all right,
Awesome.
bye.
Bye.